Dora, how are you? Hope your exploring's going well. I was just checking to see if you'd heard the news about who won the League Cup here in Iceland while you've been away. Good old Volsungur. I am proving you so wrong, girl. You can take as long a holiday as you like. Just keep on exploring. I've got this so under control. I am a genius director of football. Woo!
Looking for trouble and fights, but you found me. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I'm glad you're someone to rely on, someone to rely on. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I could be someone to rely on, someone to rely on, someone to rely on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 12 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. Today we enter the Mjólkurbikarinn, the Iceland Cup, in the second round to take on a team down in the 4th division of Iceland. And off the back of that, we also will give you guys a bit of a Building a Nation update about the Savers. It's about time we covered that off for the first time in the save. So if you are looking forward to that, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video. And if you are enjoying the series and haven't done so already, also make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But before we get into today's game against Víðir down in the dield, so it is definitely a game that we should be winning at home. We have started the league campaign since the end of last week when we did win the League Cup. If you missed those episodes, I'll leave a link to the final above my head in the top right corner. But before we get into highlights from those games, and it won't show up here for the Cup because this is the team that we're able to use in the Cup, but some of these players we weren't able to use in the league, and that's because I made a little bit of a boo-boo with my pre-season plans. If we go to the best 11, you'll notice a few players are missing from the team that we did use throughout that League Cup run that we did have, notably the likes of Zevnerov and, of course, Effiong at right back. We were aware that Effiong probably wouldn't be able to take his place in this league team, but unfortunately I was a little bit dumb in terms of the Zevnerov situation. I thought that because he was from Belarus, he counted as a non-foreign player. Yeah, my European knowledge isn't too great, it's fair to say, because he counts as a foreigner. So Zevnerov has not been playing in these league games for us. We're prioritising Spasic over him at the moment alongside our two classy wingers. They are obvious must picks for us are Dordovic and Ledson, but between Spasic and Zevnerov, they are battling at the moment for that third foreigner starting spot in our first 11. And I just thought Spasic suited the role a little bit better, and there was a more significant drop-off between him and any other decent box-to-box midfielders that we could find as compared to the difference between someone like Zevnerov and Ade, who is not as useful in the air but still decent quality at the back there. So have slightly misjudged my plans here at Volsungur this season for the league. Anyway, we are all good for the Cup games because we can play as many foreigners as we like, but it has just thrown a little bit of a hurdle, and our squad is not quite looking as strong as I ideally would have had it for the league this season, but we are still doing a pretty good job, as you'll see from these upcoming highlights. And our first league game of the season was at the start of May away to Grindavik, UMFG, and Trubia set up nicely there from Leeds and continuing to pull all the strings very nicely for us, and we got off to a good quick start to go 1-0 up in this opener. Unfortunately missed header at the back there. I believe that was from Balderson. Hammer gets on the end of that, and it was 1-1 at half-time. A pretty iffy game, but Wang off the bench up to Olgierson. That's a new addition, actually. Wang, haven't showed you guys that one. He is a backup winger who can replace either Dordovic or Ledson. Being Chinese, we don't miss out on the foreigners there. He is actually quite a decent player, is Wang. We'll have a quick look at him, but his assist there for Olgierson set us up for the 2-1 win in the opening game of the season. So that was an ideal start to the league campaign off the back of that League Cup win. And off the back of that, it was a rematch from the League Cup final at home against Fjolnir just after the half-hour mark. Nice ball again there for Olgierson from Ledson, and that was the only goal in the game. A much tighter affair than the League Cup final was, and we pick up a 1-0 win. Deserved one. When you look at the stats, probably should have got more goals, but we still pick up another 3 points there in the league. But unfortunately, off the back of that, we were held to a 0-0 draw by Glotta. They look like a decent team this year. They are up there in the fight. Most of these teams that we have played so far this season have been in and around us towards the top end of the table. Probably could have edged this game if you look at the XG and the stats overall, but pretty fair result away from home against a good Glotta team, a 0-0 draw there. But we return to winning form in our next game against Korjlinga, another rematch from a League Cup game that we did have. Olgierson off the free kick puts the ball in there towards Balderson at the far post at the 25-minute mark. That was the only goal. A very dominant performance from us. Again, another game when you look at the stats, we probably should have won it more comfortably, but a good solid 3 points to keep our unbeaten run in the league going at that stage. But we come into today having suffered our first loss of the season in the game. Prior to this, we went away to Selfoss, a team that we did beat in the Icelandic Cup last season. They got off to a good start there through Tokic at the 13-minute mark, and he made it a double just before the half-hour mark. He just bullies his way past Balderson there and is able to put that in the bottom left corner, and we were 2-0 down at the half-hour mark. We did find a way back into this game about 10 minutes before half-time. Gerson there for Spasic puts the ball in, and Flavio Trubia, having a good start to the season, heads that into the left corner, but we couldn't grab an equaliser, and we suffer our first defeat of the season, 2-1 away to Selfoss. You look at the stats, we probably should have got at least a draw out of that game, so a frustrating one, but we're not quite being as clinical in front of goal as we potentially should be so far this season, as you would be able to tell by the narrow wins and losses that we have had, despite us being quite dominant in most of the games that we are playing stats-wise. So what that means for the table going into this first game of the Icelandic Cup today, having played 5 league games, as we are top 1 point clear of both Glotta and Leknir. A big surprise to see those guys up towards the top of the table. The team that got promoted alongside us last season were expected to be heavy relegation favourites. They got off to a very good start, winning their first 3 games, but have just slowed down a little bit since then, and we have been able to overtake them, and just that one loss with the 3 wins and a draw means that we are just that 1 point ahead of both them and Glotta. So we've started off the season pretty well despite that most recent loss, having played more or less a quarter of the league season. But today our focus is on the Mjólkurbikarinn, the Icelandic Cup. We had a decent run in this tournament last year, coming off the back of the League Cup win, though we think we could potentially go quite far in this competition this time around, having picked up that trophy. So in theory, this Mjólkurbikarinn should be no more difficult. Bigger payday and the reward of a European spot, if we can pick up this trophy, would be ideal and would give us a nice little boost heading into the 3rd season. Might be the sort of thing that we need to help turn the club professional as well. A good payday from winning this Icelandic Cup competition, if we can get that far, and also reaching the qualifying stages of the Conference League for next season. In terms of the team, we kind of went over it before. We're putting out a pretty heavy rotation for this game. A lot of players who wouldn't normally play. That's the benefit that we do have if we go back to the homepage of taking on a team down in the 4th tier of Icelandic football in Víðir. They are a team who are right near the bottom of that table in that division as well. In fact, they are right at the bottom, so this is a game we should definitely be winning, even with our rotated teams, and players who have not had a lot of league football lately are going to be stepping out today. So should be a game that we win. Hopefully we do it comfortably, get a bit of confidence back after that loss to Selfoss in the league, and we will come back shortly and see if we can start this cup off well at the Husavik Heroes. And we are at home, so are wearing our green with the white shorts. We do have some custom kits that have just arrived into my inbox. So they will be coming for tomorrow's episode. Give you guys a look at those new threads then. It is Víðir in the dark blue who are playing right to left and kicking this game off. And we do have an opening highlight, and they do look to hold the ball quite nicely here early on, which would not be good for us. We want to get off to a good start in this game, not give these guys a sniff, hopefully get quite a few goals past them in today's episode. As you can see down below next to me, quite a bit of rotation in this team. About the only first choice players in this squad today. Poles, Paprzycki, and looking through the midfield, we have also got Stefansson, who you could argue is a first choice striker for us, but Olgierson has been too good to start the season to drop yet. So those players are players who are right on the fringe of the first team, or usually would be first team players, and that is an awful start at the back for us. So the return of Zevnerov not helping us there, as John Hannesson gets them 1-0 up after only a minute. So that is a terrible start. While I was rambling on there, they were holding the ball very nicely. Helgason, that is a nice finish. I thought Johannesson was the goal scorer there. He was the assist maker. And early on, we go 1-0 down, albeit shortly off the back of that, another highlight, and it is us getting possession back off of Víðir, so we better get our act into gear quickly here, because that is not the start that we were after, although it's a nice ball over the top there for Stefansson. Tries to take that left-hand side, beat the goalkeeper at the near post, puts it wide, and we are still 1-0 down early. 18 minutes gone, a throw-in here for Víðir, so they have got this game off to a good start, although we do win the ball back header-wise. That's a little bit poor there from Wang, though, our Chinese winger losing possession there a little bit softly, and now it is Víðir on the attack again. Jonsson plays a back pass. Wang will tidy things up this time. We'll play a long ball forward here for Stefansson. He heads that on, but straight to the goalkeeper, so that attacking move on the counter does end for us. Hopefully, we can keep possession a little bit better for the rest of this game than we have in the opening 20 minutes, because so far hasn't been great from us in this rotation team. It must be said. There's a ball for Wang, buries it in the left-hand corner. He is onside, and we get it back all square, just shy of the 20-minute mark. That's exactly what we needed after a pretty poor start in this game. Wang lost possession for us a few times amongst that bit of play. Lozano with the long ball forward. Good header there from Stefansson, and Wang with the nice finish, and we are back all square after 20 minutes. And shortly off the back of that equaliser, we do have a throw-in, albeit deep inside our own half. Hopefully, we can start to wear these guys down, though. Even though it is early on, we want to get right on top of these guys, secure a pretty comfy win. Another nice long ball there for Stefansson. Tries to chip the goalkeeper, puts a little bit too much on it, and it's still 1-1, albeit we have another highlight straight off the back of that from the goal kick. We lose possession, although in the end, Zevnarov does get on the end of that. Another ball over the top for Stefansson. This time takes it around the goalkeeper. Just sneaks that inside the right hand upright. And he gets his second goal of the season. Hasn't had too much game time so far this season. Has Stefansson, as I said. Olgierson has been pretty good for us up front so far. But that's good direct passing for him in this game so far. And he puts that one away. And after a bit of a shaky start, we are in front 2-1 after 22 minutes. Half an hour gone here, and now it is a corner. Wang puts us in, and it is Zevnarov. Maybe we need to put him in that first team. He is so dangerous from set pieces. He is a tall aerial threat, and it comes to fruition there. Yet again, Wang picking up an assist to go alongside his goal. Just picks out the tall timber at the near post, and we are starting to put our foot down in this game. 3-1 after half an hour, and shortly off the back of that, we do have a throw-in. Effiong, who gets a start in these cup games, giving our Polish captain Zysik a rest after he started most of the games in the league so far this season, just with that foreign player rule. But it is quite useful having some extra foreigners that we can put out in the cup with a little bit of extra quality. So not the worst thing having these extra foreigners, is able to improve our quality in the squad for these cup competitions, and that is where the good money is. So while it's a little bit annoying in the league not being able to put out our first 11 all the time, it certainly does help us out in these competitions, as you saw in the League Cup last week. And Papazicki makes his way down the left-hand side. Far post ball for Wanga towards Stefansson. I think I meant to say heads that towards Stefansson. Didn't quite come out right. And he is there with a simple tap in, his second goal of the day for the good Icelandic striker who we did bring in prior to the League Cup. And he is starting to find his form here in the green of Volsungur. A good ball there. One nice header there to Stefansson at the far post. Simple finish from him. And as I said, really putting the foot down now. 4-1 up, 10 minutes shy of half time. And we get to half time in this first game of the Icelandic Cup for us this season. 4-1 ahead, looking pretty good after a shaky start. We're going to make no changes at half time. As I said, after that shaky start, things do appear to be going pretty well, and hopefully we can keep this up throughout the second half and extend our lead. And an early highlight here in the second half, clearing a ball deep to Zevnarov there was the Víðir goalkeeper, and we do get it back. Nikola Zhuk playing that in for Pettersson. We've got some good backup depth in the midfield. Alexson tries to put that in the top right corner just high, and it does remain 4-1 for now, albeit we have another highlight shortly off the back of that. We do give possession away a little bit softly, and Bergson plays the ball forward, and they look to get driving forward again here. Do Víðir looking to start this half off much like they did the first half when they got off to that good start with that early goal. Rocked us a little bit, but we have recovered quite nicely. Hopefully we don't let them do the same thing here in the second half, and this can be a nice comfortable win for us to open our Icelandic Cup campaign. It's looking good for us so far, considering the amount of rotation players we have been putting out. Good short passing there, and Otterson with a shot, but high and wide as well. Early chances for both teams here in the second half, but it remains 4-1. And another highlight here, and it is again Víðir in possession. Jonsson plays that back to Ragnarsson. They are looking quite dangerous when they do hold the ball, and they are quite good at that. And they have a ball played for there for Enarsson that has blocked that shot, but now Helgason, a lot of space. Can he beat our goalkeeper? Yes, he can. Poles gets beaten again, and they are somewhat back in this game here. The fourth tier outfit, 4-2 at the 53-minute mark, so our defence not performing too well today, it has to be said, but it's good overlapping run there from Helgason. The block shot did somewhat fall, fortunately, back to them, but they do well with that possession. Nice ball for Helgason, and they are back in this at 4-2, just shy of the hour mark. And up to the 58-minute mark, we do have a throw-in. Hopefully we can extend that lead back out to 3 goals. Eilerksson plays that back for Lozano, tries to put that into the net, just high, and it does remain 4-2. And shortly off the back of that last highlight, nearly making it 5-2 was Lozano. We do have another one playing it forward to Nikola Zhuk. So far, the best player on the pitch does look like Zevnerov, so that's not helping our decisions league-wise, but that is a second yellow card there for Otterson. Surely that's going to help us see this game out now with 25 minutes left, a 2-goal lead and a 1-man advantage. We'll make a few changes here. We'll take Papazicki and Stefansson off. Olgiasson and Gearson can come on for them. They are 2 players who we could use just resting for the rest of this game, just in case we need to use them in the league off the back of this. So we'll make those changes still 4-2 up with 18 minutes left. And going forward a little bit more, we now have a free kick at the 77-minute mark, trying to pick out, I think that might have been Zevnerov at the far post there from that free kick, but we do get possession back. We'll make a change off the back of this with one down to a red heart. Olgiasson, though, off the bench, gets his head to that ball from Nikola Zhuk and makes it 5-2 with an extra man and only 12 minutes left. We should now be making our way through to the next round of the Icelandic Cup, as you would expect from us. Good little bit of work there from Nikola Zhuk, puts the ball in. Olgiasson just gets free from his defenders. Another goal for our current first choice striker, and we make it 5-2, and that should seal this with 12 minutes to go. And up to the 90-minute mark here, very late in this game, it is going to be Víðir who do look to get a goal back and try and win the second half, which would be a little bit frustrating. We did well to come back in the first half, get it to 4-1. Nice long ball there for Einarsson. What's he going to do? Tight angle, plays it back for Jonsson, and they do get a goal. So the second half has not been great from us. It has to be said, down to 10 men. We are still losing the second half 2-1 against opposition who are 2 tiers below us. So not very good signs here from what is more or less a rotation team. So that's a little bit concerning. Maybe just switching off late in this game. Some tired bodies out there. As you can see, a lot of players on red hearts. Quite a busy schedule heading into this game with midweek games now coming. But we do win the game, albeit not quite as convincingly as we would have liked, especially with that man advantage more or less for the last half hour of that game. But we do get the job done. But Víðir did give us something to think about throughout that game as we defeat them 5-3 to make our way through to the next round of the Icelandic Cup. And back in the inbox off the back of that slightly scrappy win against Víðir, it has to be said we've gone through just a day and we have been drawn against opposition even lower than Víðir in the next round of the Icelandic Cup, taking on Hurdur. So that should be a game that we win pretty comfortably. That will be coming up in tomorrow's episode. As I said last week, I think we'll focus on the Cup while we are still in it, and when we do get knocked out of it, if we do, we can then focus on the league, albeit probably not quite as confident in getting promoted from this league in the first season as I was after that League Cup win, just with realising some of our players will not be available due to that foreigner mix-up that I did have thanks to my stupidity. But we still should be doing pretty well, and that's been frank so far in this season, as we do hold the lead by a point, about a quarter of a way through this season so far. Albeit if we go to the season preview tab, you will see our prediction has slipped down from about 5th to 7th, and our odds are quite high, 26 to win the league, albeit our promotion odds probably a little bit less than that. But the bookies certainly have 2 clear favourites for those promotion spots in Vestmannaeyjar and Fjolnir, so they are the 2 clear favourites. But at the moment, we are up there, and I still think we should have a good chance of getting out of this division if we can keep playing like we have so far this season. But before we do end today's episode and come back tomorrow for the next round of the Icelandic Cup, we are going to do a bit of a Build a Nation update now that we have got through the first season of other leagues and the Champions League here as well. So we'll go to the nation coefficients, and if we make our way down, we do find ourselves still in 52nd. But if we change this to what the coefficient is going to be next year, Iceland are going to jump up just a little bit to 48th, and that's thanks to a year where they did get 2.75 points from the coefficient, doing pretty well compared to most of the nations in and around them, and that is why we are going to be jumping up just a little bit in the coefficients. That's a good start to this Build a Nation challenge, despite us not having anything to do with it. Hopefully, over the next few seasons, we can start working our way up towards being the best team in Iceland, and then we can really start to have an effect on that ourselves. If we go and have a look at European competitions as well, because no doubt you guys are going to be interested about that. In the Champions League, it was won by Liverpool, beating Dortmund 2-0 in the final. Over to the Europa League, and that was won by Atalanta, the Italian outfit, defeating Real Sociedad pretty comfortably in the final 3-0. And in the first edition of the Conference League, unlike our taking over Tottenham save, Tottenham could not get the job done in the final, losing 2-0 to Eintracht Frankfurt. And in terms of the Icelandic team's performance in those European competitions where we got our coefficient points from, unfortunately, Vala Reykjavik, the team that we beat in the League Cup semi-finals, got knocked out by Malmo in their first Champions League path qualifying game. Did quite well in the Conference League qualifiers off the back of that, but fell at the final hurdle against KF Skendigia, I believe that is, and they are a team who are from North Macedonia, so they tipped out in the last round of Conference League qualifiers before the group stage. Breidablik went straight into Conference League qualifying action. They got through the first round over Mons Kelp, but unfortunately missed out to Podgorica in the next round, so went some way short of making their way through to the Conference League group stages against the team who are from Montenegro. And the other team in European qualification action for Iceland this past usual season, I'll call it, because obviously the seasons in Iceland and the rest of Europe don't align quite as well together, but that team was Hafnarfjörður, I believe is how you pronounce this one. You have to get used to it. They did a decent job getting through the first round of their Conference League qualifiers, but much like Breidablik, they got defeated in the next round, only narrowly, by CSKA Sofia from Bulgaria. So no Icelandic teams making their way through to the group stage of any competitions, but one team did get quite close in Valor Reykjavik, and we still had a pretty decent year in terms of the coefficient compared to the teams in and around us. So not the worst season, but certainly still a lot to improve on, and hopefully we can start having an impact on that ourselves here at Volsungur sooner rather than later. So that is the Build a Nation update for the middle of 2022. We'll probably do it early on in the league season next season as well, just with how the seasons align. As I said before, doesn't really match up too well, the Icelandic season compared to the usual calendars in the likes of England. But that will do it for today's episode. Tomorrow we'll come back, bring you guys some more highlights of the league games that we play in between now and then, taking on Vestri, Por and Vestmannaeyjar. That's going to be a very interesting game against a team heavily favoured to be making their way out of this division, albeit a team that we have already beaten this season in the League Cup group stage earlier on, albeit with a stronger team. And off the back of that, we'll show you guys the Hurdur game in tomorrow's episode, and by then we'll also have those fresh new kits to show you guys as well, which are 3D, so will show up in the game. They are looking quite good, but we'll show you guys those in tomorrow's episode. So that's what's going to be coming up, the third round of the Icelandic Cup. If you did enjoy today's episode, the second round win over Víðir, a bit of a closer run thing than we would have liked in that bit of a Build a Nation update, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until tomorrow, where we continue the Icelandic Cup run, hopefully against Hurdur, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.